Hello, and welcome to Nighttime Fables, a haven where stories come to life under the gentle hush of evening, guiding you toward a peaceful night's rest. Tonight, we bring you another calming tale, one crafted to ease your mind and invite a sense of tranquil calm. But first, let's take a few moments to prepare both body and mind for a restful sleep. Make yourself comfortable, and with each slow inhale and gentle exhale, feel the day's worries slowly melt away. It can be challenging to separate from the bustle of the day, especially as bedtime nears. Yet remember, the less we fret about falling asleep, the more our minds can let go of lingering tension. Let the gentle flow of your breathing soothe any concerns and allow tonight's story to guide you into a deep, restorative slumber. Now get cozy and let the soft glow of nighttime fables envelope you. Enjoy this story, and may it lead you into a serene and restful sleep. Agra breathes cool and hushed in the nascent light of 1640. A stillness hangs in the air, punctuated only by the near completion of a monument whispered to be the diadem of the palace. The Taj Mahal. Conceived by the Mughal sovereign Emperor Khurram, it stands as an immortal elegy in stone for his cherished consort Arjumand Banu, whose earthly form found its repose within these walls some years prior. Though born as a sepulchre for emperor and empress alike, time would etch its image across the globe, a peerless emblem of devotion, celebrated for its sublime aesthetics and the profound sentiment that spurred its creation. You find yourself poised at its threshold now, the crispness of the dawn air a tangible presence against your skin. Erected upon the Yamuna's southern embankment, the structure radiates a dazzling, ethereal whiteness. Though the river itself remains unseen from this vantage, its murmuring passage whispers on the breeze a distant, constant rush. Sporadic trills of birdsong weave through this aquatic murmur, composing an impromptu ode that instills a quiet thankfulness for this early, solitary communion. From somewhere unseen, a lone voice lifts in morning prayer. Its resonant notes drift, ethereal messengers carried upon the wind, merging seamlessly with the avian chorus and the river's gentle cadence. Closing your eyes, you surrender to the sound, at once profoundly calming and deeply stirring. Beyond these gates, the city begins its slow awakening. Cultivators steer towards their plots, pastoralists guide their flocks, and from scattered courtyards, roosters issue their clarion calls, sharp echoes slicing the tranquil air. Each sound arrives distinct, crystalline, in the morning quiet. One day, this horizon will bristle with structures, but in this suspended moment, only the Taj Mahal dominates, flanked by a few distant, vibrantly colored domes. Generous swaths of open land separate them, granting an unobstructed vista of the heavens. Streaks of nascent yellow and fiery orange bleed across the sky, the sun's ascent painting a backdrop that complements the crimson and azure crowns of the lesser buildings. Agra, once the very heart of Khurram's dominion, still wears its imperial legacy proudly, evident in the profusion and artistry of its significant edifices. Though the capital shifted to Delhi 2 years hence, the city's magnificence remains undiminished, a testament to the emperor's fervent patronage of arts and architecture. The Taj Mahal might be the superlative jewel born of this passion. Yet numerous handsome structures of red brick also punctuate the landscape. Emperor Khurram, fourth ruler of the formidable Mughal line, an empire rooted primarily in the Indus Basin, yet sprawling across vast tracts of India, Afghanistan, and what will become Pakistan, presided over an era famed for its artistic flourishing. The Mughals, conduits of Persian refinement, infused South Asia with novel cultural currents, weaving a rich tapestry whose threads would endure far into posterity. Here, in this corner of India, their influence manifests powerfully in stone and mortar. Minarets, those slender soaring towers integral to mosques, punctuate the skyline frequently. Architectural styles favor intricate, deeply carved ornamentation. Rounded domes, like the colossal one before you, are a recurring motif. While this monument gleams with marble, many humbler structures nearby shimmer with mosaics of small, colorful tiles, marble being a luxury beyond common reach. You observed some such tile-clad buildings during your earlier passage through the awakening city, your path ultimately converging here at the gates of this unparalleled creation. Soon, the privilege awaits to shadow the master architect himself, Ustad Isa Afandi, as he presides over the final embellishments of this glorious undertaking. You amble across the expansive courtyard of the Taj Mahal, where the architect, Ustad Isa Afandi, conducts his assessment. A man of stature, bearded and turbaned, his countenance holds a serene, meditative quality. He moves with deliberate slowness, his gaze meticulously absorbing every detail. Within the coming years, he envisions transforming this very space into a verdant paradise garden, bisected by a long, shimmering pool. Fed with the purest cerulean water, it will earn the name Reflecting Pool. Its edges bordered by dense lines of trees, forming walls of living green. Not far off, Ustad Isa Afandi paces the ground designated for the future pool, scrutinizing its corners, ensuring all is primed for the imminent earthworks. You trail him through the courtyard, maintaining a respectful distance, yet moving slowly enough to savor the ambience. The garden's intended layout draws inspiration from the Islamic conception of paradise, quartered by 4 symbolic rivers flowing from a central fount. Even unrealized, you reflect, this place already resonates with a celestial tranquility. The Taj Mahal commands attention even from afar, yet standing within its precincts reveals a masterful orchestration. Every element directs the eye towards the central mausoleum, the undeniable cynosure. It's a spectacle that seizes your gaze and refuses release. The white marble, ignited by the sun's first oblique rays, possesses a hypnotic luminescence. Polished to a near mirror finish, the pale stone glistens, appearing immaculate, as if freshly quarried and set in place only moments ago. Sourced from a modest town in Rajasthan to the north, renowned for yielding the world's most exquisite marble, only the finest material was deemed worthy for the emperor's beloved consort. Yet the Taj Mahal is not solely marble. Beneath the surface, foundations of sandstone provide strength. Plates of marble sheath these core areas, concealing the utilitarian stone and forging a structure both aesthetically sublime and structurally robust. At the heart of the complex rises the immense plinth supporting the iconic central structure, crowned by its vast bulbous dome, often termed an onion dome. Reaching a height exceeding 70 meters, the building cuts a commanding silhouette against the sky. 4 elegant minarets stand sentinel, detached from the main edifice. Viewed from the garden, they artfully frame the central dome, imparting a sense of depth and amplifying the grandeur. Each minaret echoes the primary dome with its own smaller, rounded cap. The entire ensemble speaks eloquently of its traditional Persian architectural lineage. The central dome presents a surface of flawless, gleaming smoothness. It seems scarcely conceivable that such perfection could be wrought from rough, ponderous stone. The nascent grass underfoot yields softly as you tread slowly towards the magnificent monument. Its beauty feels too immense to assimilate entirely at once. The dome's sheer scale is dazzling, compelling you to imprint its image indelibly upon your memory. Your eyes alight upon steps flanking one side of the main structure. A cluster of workmen sits there, partaking in morning sustenance, perhaps coffee, steeling themselves for the day's labor. Their charge lies within, tending to the intricate carvings, delicate engravings, and flowing calligraphy that adorn the interior. It is these very adornments you have come seeking to comprehend, to grasp the depth of artistry lavished upon this extraordinary sanctuary. Ustad Isa Affandi pauses before the principal gateway, scrutinizing some detail near the entrance, a portal unlike any you have witnessed, as monumental as every other facet of this complex. A massive arch vaults overhead, while the panels below are alive with elaborate floral tracery. You discern Arabic calligraphy as well, though its execution appears incomplete. Some of the artisans you noted earlier are likely responsible for this work, you surmise, struck by their evident skill. Leaning closer to the dark lettering set against the pale stone, you admire the exquisite fineness of the engraving, the elegant flourishes and sweeping curves of the script. This great gate, the Pishtak, leading into the Taj Mahal proper, is celebrated for its primary inscription, a verse which translates, "O soul, thou art at rest, return to the Lord at peace with him, and he at peace with you." Completed back in 1609, this inscription has graced the entrance for decades. Numerous passages from the Quran embellish the monument, befitting its fundamental purpose as a hallowed place of final repose. Many of the inscriptions and decorative motifs throughout the Taj Mahal feature floral themes, abstract geometries, and sinuous, free-form lines. In certain sections, the marble is inlaid with lustrous black jasper, a variety of quartz creating striking contrasts. The inscriptions positioned higher on the walls are rendered in larger script, ingeniously scaled so that observers gazing upward from ground level can still discern the lettering. Even the most minute element here is deliberate, the product of meticulous forethought. You follow Ustad Isa Affandi as he proceeds toward the central chamber of the mausoleum. Approaching, you catch the subtle sounds of artisans within the cavernous, empty space, diligently working upon the delicate walls. The soft, rhythmic tapping of their chisels and small hammers reverberates filling the vast enclosure. Occasionally, a worker pauses. The tapping momentarily ceases as he blows away stone dust, critically examining his progress. Then, satisfied, Zania he resumes, and the gentle percussion once more permeates the air. You move through the chamber at an unhurried pace, unconsciously adopting the slow cadence of their craft, attempting to fathom the sheer magnitude of human effort invested here. The immense dome observed from the garden forms the celestial ceiling of this room. Inside, the marble gleams with the same polished intensity as it did externally. Sunlight filters through intricately patterned window screens, bathing the space in a warm, golden luminescence. Within these slanted shafts of orange-yellow light, minuscule dust motes dance and drift, resembling fine grains of sugar cascading through an invisible sieve. When the light catches them just so, they shimmer like scattered fey dust. The windows themselves are marvels of craftsmanship, as intricate as the carvings and inscriptions adorning the walls. Hewn from massive stone blocks, their delicate latticed appearance, thin interlacing strands of stone creating complex geometric patterns, belies their solid origins. These filtered sunbeams illuminate the surrounding marble walls, suffusing the chamber with an ethereal radiance. Few have trod these floors. The building retains the pristine aura, the special allure of a place scarcely visited. Remnants of construction, a few ladders, some scaffolding, still linger, though most equipment has been cleared. A lone worker sweeps the floor with a broom fashioned from bamboo, its rhythmic swish-swish whispering against the polished marble. Your attention returns to the architect, Ustad Isa Afandi. He now carefully inspects a section of the wall separating this octagonal hall from the inner sanctum. Curiosity piqued, you draw nearer. As you approach, you perceive a difference in these walls. Flanking the doorway to the innermost chamber are shallow alcoves recessed into the stone, gently curved and culminating in a subtle point. You observe the architect tracing the edge of one alcove with his index finger, undoubtedly verifying the smoothness of the carving, assessing if further sanding or refinement is required. You are captivated by the palpable sense of duty and meticulous care Ustad Isa Afandi invests in the Taj Mahal. He has pursued absolute perfection with unwavering resolve and continues to do so even now. Content with the alcoves, he shifts his focus to the decoration embellishing the wall around them. It's a polychromatic tapestry of exquisite florals interwoven with vines and creepers. Predominantly blue and yellow vines twine amidst orange and green accents in the corners, with touches of brown defining some petals. The patterns interlace with fluid elegance, like visual transcriptions of lyrical Arabic verse. Moving closer still, you examine the minute details of these vibrant patterns. It is then that a startling realization dawns. These are not paintings. The wall before you showcases one of the most brilliant examples of pietra dura. In this demanding technique, precisely cut and shaped pieces of colored stone are meticulously inlaid into a base stone, creating a visually stunning mosaic that, from a distance, mimics a painted surface. Close inspection reveals the seams where the colorful stones meet the marble. Such work must have demanded immense reserves of time and patience, you muse. You picture a dedicated artisan, brow furrowed in concentration, painstakingly setting each tiny stone, then stepping back to appraise his handiwork. Almost reflexively, you step back yourself, trying to see what that artisan saw. The illusion is striking. The botanical forms appear rendered with a painter's brush. Being newly completed, the colors possess a dazzling vibrancy. In a way, they foreshadow the living flora destined to flourish soon in the gardens outside. Glancing across the chamber, you see Ustad Isa Afandi observing the current efforts of a carver. A man perhaps in his 60s, he carefully coaxes patterns from the wall, his sharp chisel and tiny hammer tapping rhythmically, conjuring forms that evoke flowers and leaves. The wall itself is hard, unyielding stone, yet through his patient labor, something delicate and almost magical emerges. The design, perhaps halfway realized, seems destined to become a lily or a daffodil. The architect watches intently as the slow, deliberate tap, tap, tap of the chisel refines the magnificent stone. The embossed elements of the plant slowly gain definition, coming to life against their stark background. You contemplate the profound contrast, the soft suggestion of flora emerging from the hard, immutable stone. Beauty, it seems, resides inherently in all things here. It merely awaits the artist's hand, working steadily, patiently, to reveal it. Once satisfied with the carver's progress, Ustad Isa Afandi turns towards the innermost chamber. Here lies the cenotaph marking the resting place of the Empress Arjuman Banu, interred just a few years past. This is a sacred, solemn space. Entering the room, you immediately sense the profound serenity, the palpable calm that permeates the air. The cenotaph rests at the center of the circular chamber. Encircling it stands an octagonal screen of pierced marble, exhibiting the same intricate, lace-like patterns witnessed on the exterior windows. It resembles a delicate trellis, yet denser, with finer apertures. Approaching, you realize the gaps perceived from afar are actually formed by exquisitely interlinked floral carvings, stalks, and minuscule leaves spaced with perfect symmetry. A truly marvelous work of art. You breathe inwardly. Its intricacy speaks volumes about the depth of the bond between the emperor and his empress, compelling him to commission such breathtaking beauty in her memory. The cenotaph itself embodies grace and elegance. It is adorned with sublime Arabic calligraphy, the 99 names of God, as enumerated in the Quran. Though the precise meaning of each inscription eludes you, you find yourself gazing at the black script, mesmerized by its looping, slanted elegance. Sunlight filters into this chamber too, yet it glows a slightly deeper shade of orange than in the previous hall. Perhaps it's the angle of entry, or simply that the day has advanced further. This warmer light illuminates the complex geometric patterns inlaid upon the floor. Before long, you notice Ustad Isa Afandi preparing to depart. You follow as he traverses a corridor flanked on one side by massive windows, again featuring the intricate lace pattern. Your footsteps echo softly against the stone walls as you walk. The architect is heading towards the rear of the Taj Mahal, intending to inspect the ancillary buildings. A mosque and a guest house that flank the main mausoleum and are still under construction. You hesitate, wondering whether to accompany him. Curiosity tugs, urging you to see these complementary structures taking shape. As you deliberate, you arrive at the open platform situated at the back. Here, beyond the main edifice of the Taj Mahal, unfolds a captivating panorama of the Yamuna River. You pause, absorbing the vista, while Ustad Isa Fandi continues onward. There is little for him to inspect here, this section being complete, but you feel compelled to linger. The other buildings can await another occasion. Standing at the platform's edge, you inhale deeply. Though later in the morning, the air retains its cool freshness. The sun, not yet high, imparts a gentle warmth, just beginning to temper the coolness. It's a comforting heat, fostering a sense of deep contentment. You rest your hand upon the marble parapet bordering the platform, tracing its surface with your fingertips. It feels remarkably smooth, cool against your skin. As your fingers glide over the polished stone, you reflect upon the genesis of this place, upon the countless individuals who dedicated so much of their lives to manifesting Emperor Khorram's vision. Your gaze drifts over the Yamuna River, thoughts meandering alongside its current. The Taj Mahal possesses an intrinsic magnificence, you concede, but the presence of the river, its visual expanse and its constant, soothing murmur, adds an entirely different dimension to the experience. The water appears pristine, its flow broad and clear. Near the bank, a pair of horses pauses to drink before moving on. It would be easy, you imagine, to spend hours right here, simply watching the river glide by, allowing your mind to wander back through the procession of wonders witnessed this morning. More awaits later, but for this interlude, you are utterly content. You sense that this day will remain etched in your memory, indelible. It feels as though the Taj Mahal has become, in some small way, a part of you. Tonight your dreams will likely be filled with visions of vibrant pietra, dura vines, and luminous white marble, underscored by the clear, fresh sounds of the river. You feel the love imbued in every carving, every design choice. Like innumerable visitors before and countless yet to come, you have been utterly captivated by the sublime grandeur of the Taj Mahal. Thoughts of this place will linger for days, accompanied by a profound gratitude for inhabiting a world capable of such breathtaking beauty. Sunlight, gentle as a benediction, dappled the lane Ilara ambled along, a hushed country road awakening to spring. Here in England's northern Lake District, the April morning air held a crystalline stillness, a bracing chill against her skin. Sycamores flanking the path unfurled tentative buds, yet a drift of winter's cast-off leaves, an accumulated russet tide, still clung to the grassy verge. A swift glance confirmed her solitude. With a deliberate scythe of her boot, she sent the leaves airborne, a fleeting constellation against the sharp blue canvas of the sky. Deep red, amber, burnt orange, nut brown, they pirouetted downwards. Stepping through their remnants, she savored the dry rustle and snap beneath her sturdy walking boots, a private smile touching her lips. A withered sign announced her arrival in Lowiswater village. Her breath plumed white before her, though the sun offered a surprising warmth on her cheek. Tucking her chin deeper into the collar of her thick, quilted coat, she rounded a corner to her right. She stretched out a hand, trailing fingertips across the adjacent dry stone wall. Its light grey granite blocks wore constellations of white lichen and patches of deep green, earth-fragrant moss, the rugged texture a faint rasp against her skin. Turning the bend unfurled a new panorama. Before her stretched broad open pastures where sheep drifted like woolly clouds through long, dew-kissed grass. 3 formidable hills stood sentinel beyond. As Ilara walked and the sun climbed, light crept across their flanks, slowly illuminating stony fissures and scattered shrubbery, unveiling the deep valley whose entrance they guarded. Even at this remove, the iron-grey stillness of Cromog water was visible, a silent mirror to the sky. Yet, those hills were not her destination. This day held a particular promise. Vaulting a simple wooden stile, she saw it, the reason for her pilgrimage. In a compact field encircled by alder and ash, a hot air balloon stood poised for flight, its rainbow-striped canopy billowing with contained energy. No one else was present. Crossing the field towards it, the heat radiating from the burners intensified with each step. As she neared, an inquisitive squirrel, drawn by the unusual activity, edged closer from the hedgerow. Just as Ilara placed a hand on the wicker gondola, the burners pulsed twice, quick bright flares that seemed an eager invitation. The squirrel, deciding ballooning wasn't its métier, darted back to safety. With as much grace as she could muster, Ilara hoisted herself into the basket. Inside, the space was Spartan. A folded blanket and a cushion lay ready. Nestled in one corner sat a small wooden box. Walnut, perhaps, she mused, or maybe rosewood. Its construction was simple, yet meticulous, imbued with an air of antiquity. The lip of the lid, worn smooth and pale from countless openings, contrasted with the darker green. Running her fingers over its knotted surface confirmed a patina born of long use. The lid yielded with a soft, protesting squeak. Within rested a folded sheet of paper. As she lifted it, it unfurled, releasing a rich, woody scent of aged parchment. A map of the Lake District. A tiny scarlet dot indicated her current position, precisely between the twin waters of Lowiswater and Cromog. As she moved to refold the map, a second slip of paper fluttered out, twisting like a falling leaf towards the basket floor. Deftly she stooped and caught it between 2 fingers. Unfolding it revealed handwritten script. No signature, no sender identified. Just 5 stark words. I know where to go. A sudden roar from the burners and she felt the basket give a tentative lift, a mere whisper off the ground. This balloon, it seemed, possessed its own volition. Ilara folded the map, tucking it securely into her pocket. Another surge of heat, and they ascended smoothly, almost imperceptibly, higher, then higher still. The crowns of the tallest ash trees sank beneath her. Looking down, the sheep in the fields had diminished, now smaller than her littlest fingernail. Rising further, the balloon escaped the valley's lingering shadows. The morning sun, warm and full, seemed to infuse her very being with light and a quiet contentment. Suspended thus felt like shedding weight, an effortless buoyancy. Silence reigned, profound and absolute, broken only by the occasional sigh of the burners. The air smelled elemental, clean, pristine. As they climbed, the lakeland panorama unfurled in ever greater majesty. Now level with the hilltops, Most of the lake district lay revealed below, a tapestry of greens and blues. She retrieved the map once more. Far to the south, she could just discern the intricate ironwork silhouette of Blackpool Tower. An echo of Eiffel's Grace opened in 1894. Shielding her eyes against the ascendant sun, she caught the distant glint of the ocean beyond the Cumbrian coast. A faint, definite tang of salt rode the cool morning breeze. Birds wheeled and soared nearby, fellow travelers in the vastness. The surrounding hills and fells glowed gold and green in the early radiance. Aeons of wind and water and time had sculpted them, etching intricate gullies, crags, streams, and hidden dells. Ice ages spanning 2 million years had draped this region in glaciers. Immense rivers of ice that carved the U-shaped valleys and gouged out the deep lakes at the hearts, along with the smaller, jewel-like tarns she could spot nestled near some peaks. Leaning against the basket's woven rim, Elara drew a deep breath. A wave of profound gratitude for the spectacle washed over her. She closed her eyes, letting the sunlight bathe her face and neck. A profound calm flowed downwards, from her crown to her shoulders, along her arms, to her fingertips, cascading through her torso, her hips, down each leg to the very soles of her feet. Opening her eyes, she peered over the edge. They were drifting over a hill distinguished by twin peaks. Recognition sparked. Hencomb. That meant a southerly trajectory. Indeed, looking down the valley, the sun caught the surface of Buttermere, making it shimmer. For confirmation, she consulted the map again. The little red dot had migrated down the valley, tracing their airborne path. She refolded the map, waited a few heartbeats, then checked again. Unmistakably, the dot was closer to Buttermere. A smile played on her lips as she tucked the magical chart away. Gliding along the valley, leaving Ennerdale water behind, her gaze fell upon the miniature sheep grazing far below. Suddenly, a pair of large raptors sliced through the air beneath the basket. She watched, captivated, as they spiraled, then beat their wings with deep, deliberate strokes. Both bore dark grey plumage on their backs and sported rounded tails, though one was noticeably larger. As they banked and wheeled, the intricate white and grey speckling on their undersides became visible, along with striking dark grey and white bands striping their wings' lower surfaces. Long yellow legs tucked beneath them, their intense amber eyes flashed as they swept past again. Goshawks. A rare privilege, this sighting. Not long ago, they teetered on the brink of extinction here. Even now elusive, they typically haunted woodlands, nesting near tree bases, their extraordinary crimson irised eyes adapted for navigating dense forests. The pair swooped in tandem, wings still moving with languid power, before turning away into the burgeoning sunlight. The cerulean sky now held a faint haze. They floated at considerable altitude. Thin clouds drifted far, far above. A peculiar, beautiful halo shimmered around the sun, a sign of cirrostratus clouds composed of minuscule ice crystals suspended thousands of feet aloft. Sunlight striking these crystals refracted and reflected, creating the luminous effect. Gazing eastward, towards the sea, the clouds appeared thicker, darker, hinting perhaps at a brewing storm. Here, westerly winds journeyed across the Atlantic, gathering moisture before encountering the Cumbrian peaks. As the air rose and cooled, the moisture condensed and fell as rain. The very reason for the Lake District's verdant, lush complexion. The balloon had carried her towards a new congregation of peaks. One summit, however, asserted its dominance, appearing slightly higher than its neighbors. She realized they were rising to meet it. Scafell Pike, England's loftiest point. Pulling out her map, she noted its height. 978 meters. Tranquil today, yet hundreds of millions of years ago. This massif was part of a vast volcanic island arc akin to those in the Pacific. Glaciers some 20,000 years past had meticulously carved its ridges and gouges, now clearly visible as they drifted near its very apex. A dozen or so figures clad in sturdy boots, waterproofs and helmets moved with care towards the circular stone cairn marking the summit. They seemed minuscule from her vantage point. One walker glanced up, spotted the drifting balloon, and began to wave. Gradually, companions noticed, joining in one by one. Grinning, Elara waved back until the peak had slid behind them and they began a gentle descent on its far side. As Scafell Pike receded, something else arrested her attention, entirely unexpected. Atop an outcrop below lay what looked like a huge square with rounded corners. Peering intently, she discerned 3 more shapes etched upon the ground. What could they be? As if sensing her query, the balloon dipped slightly lower. Now she could distinguish low walls, the spectral footprints of buildings erected centuries ago. She was gazing upon hard-knot Roman fort. For nearly 2 millennia, it had commanded this isolated hilltop, guarding the pass. In the early 2nd century CE, soldiers under Emperor Hadrian raised this 3-acre bastion, one of Roman Britain's most solitary outposts. The 4th cohort of Dalmatians, an infantry regiment originally hailing from modern-day Croatia and the Balkans, undertook its construction. Those shapes on the ground marked the garrison headquarters, the commander's dwelling, and a granary. The 500 soldiers stationed here likely lived in leather tents, parading on the flat expanse visible on the hilltop. Countless miles from their homelands, people from across the known world had endeavored to make this corner of northern England home. Drifting down the Eskdale Valley, Elara imagined their perspective, looking up at hard knots surrounding crags and summits on a day like this. Surely they too had gazed upon this stunning landscape with a similar sense of wonder. With a gentle gliding shift, the balloon altered course. Elara consulted her map. The red dot now advanced towards a peak labeled the Old Man of Coniston. A curious name for a hill, she thought. Looking ahead, then glancing back at the map, she saw an annotation had materialized beneath the name. It likely conflated 2 old local terms, the ancient Celtic Alt Main, High Stone, and the Norse name for the nearby town, Konungstun, King's Farm. Yet local lore insisted that from Coniston Town, one of the hill's ridges perfectly resembled the profile of a reclining man. As they drifted past the Old Man of Coniston, remnants of bygone industry became clearer. Skeletal remains of slate quarries and copper mines. Iron tracks for ore carts scarred the slopes, alongside the decaying structures of cable cars once used for hauling tons of rock. Derelict shacks stood where workers might have sought refuge from Cumbrian downpours, nursing flasks of hot tea. Today, however, an immense quietness prevailed. Soon, the hill fell behind them. A long, slender ribbon of water stretched ahead. Coniston Water, one of the Lake District's largest lakes. They were approaching its western shore. Half a mile distant, on the eastern bank, a large, white, three-storied house sprawled across the hillside, embraced by gardens and woodland. Her map identified it as Brantwood, erstwhile home of the Victorian polymath John Ruskin. In the latter half of the 19th century, he rose to prominence as one of Britain's most celebrated thinkers, writing on subjects ranging from mythology and archaeology to politics and literature. The map, it seemed, had more to impart. Gradually, further words materialized beside Brantwood's outline, Ruskin's own. When we build, let us think that we build forever. Let it not be for present delight, nor for present use alone. Let it be such work as our descendants will thank us for. And let us think, as we lay stone on stone, that a time will come when those stones will be held sacred, because our hands have touched them. And men will say, as they look upon the labor and wrought substance of them, see, this our fathers did for us. Gazing around at the lake below, the enduring hills, the valleys, the fields, Elara contemplated the landscape's millennia-long existence, altered only incrementally by wind and time. She had witnessed vistas seen by Roman soldiers 2,000 years prior. In centuries hence, others would behold what she saw today. It felt easy, sometimes, to believe change occurred too rapidly, that time whistled past like the wind. Yet, unknowingly, every day, she laid a stone, then another, and another, adding her contributions to those of loved ones, of strangers passed daily. A beautiful image formed in her mind's eye. She closed her eyes again, feeling the sun's warmth on her eyelids. The air was utterly still. She drew a long, slow, deep breath, held it for a moment, then released it. Everything felt right. The balloon, as if sensing her readiness for terra firma, began its descent. Smoothly, gradually, it carried her down, down, down. The churchyard, the pubs, the grey slate houses of Coniston village loomed progressively larger. Downward she drifted, feeling gravity gently reclaim her. With a soft thud, the basket settled onto the shingle beach at the water's edge. As the gondola stilled, Elara climbed over its rim and walked towards the line of trees fringing the beach. The balloon, apparently, had further destinations. It had already begun to lift, slowly detaching from the ground. Turning to watch, she saw the burner flare twice, a warm, silent farewell. She tracked its ascent into the sky, watched it sail across the lake, over Brantwood, rising up and away. With a final distant pulse of its burners, it dwindled from sight. She hoped their paths might cross again someday. The sun stood high now, bathing the beach in warmth. Her day had begun in the pre-dawn chill. Settling for a while in the dappled shade beneath the silver birches seemed inviting. Finding a comfortable spot against a trunk, she closed her eyes. Faintly, church bells chimed. their notes echoing across the hillsides and silent fields. Water lapped softly against the shingle. The gentle bleating of sheep and their young lambs drifted on the air. She breathed deeply. She recalled the clouds seen earlier, drifting far off. Like them, she allowed stray thoughts to enter her mind, acknowledged them, and let them drift away. And gradually, enveloped by peace, Elara slipped into a deep and contented sleep.